This is such a fun, exciting video because I'm going to talk all about my first trimester with this pregnancy, compare it a lot to my pregnancy with Sutton. There is just so much to share about the first trimester. I am currently sitting on my living room floor. This house still has no decor. We have so much to do before this baby gets here for this place to feel homey for me, which is something that I did really struggle with in the first trimester because we had just moved to this home when I found out that I was pregnant. I have had no time to decorate at all. I'm a very homebody person, and so sitting in this empty house, truly this home still is empty 5 months later, just gives me a lot of anxiety, and I need to make this place feel homey ASAP. Let's talk about my first trimester. So much stuff happens in the first trimester. Honestly, so much stuff happens in pregnancy in general. I found out about this pregnancy on December 21st, and I think I mentioned this in the announcement video, but that is kind of why I abruptly went MIA from YouTube there for a while. This was a very unexpected, unplanned pregnancy, and finding out that I was pregnant, I was shook. I genuinely don't even have footage of that moment because I was in such disbelief and I was just kind of there's no way that I'm pregnant. But let me take you on the sequence of events that led me to taking a pregnancy test. We had moved into this place in mid-November. I think November 18th was our move-in date. About a week or two later, I started feeling kind of gross and sick and a little bit nauseous. But around that time, Sam and Sutton were also not feeling very well. And so I honestly thought we all had the tummy bug, and it lasted for a long time for all of us at that time. That was right around the Vlogmas time. I just kind of continued on with normal life. It wasn't debilitating sickness or anything like that. But December 19th and 20th, I was really not feeling good, super tired, super sick feeling, and Sam and Sutton were feeling better. I was maybe I'm pregnant, but And then on the 21st, I woke up and felt super, super sick. Took Sutton to Target at 11, I think. Bought a pregnancy test and came home. I just went into the bathroom and took it, but I was literally I don't think that I'm pregnant. Sam was just in the living room feeding Sutton some snacks. I just went in the bathroom, took it, and immediately the positive line came up, and it was so positive that the control line was almost not there. And then that made me feel like the test was defective. And so I took 3 more, and I walked out of the bathroom and I looked at Sam and I was like, I'm pregnant. And he was like, no way. And after the disbelief wore off a little bit, I would say we were both really scared. Scared for a lot of reasons. We had just moved. We were still living out of boxes. This place still doesn't feel homey because I've been sick. And so I went through a little bit of a stressed, worried, anxious thing of oh my gosh, I've got to do this all over again. I felt really guilty for feeling that way because of everything that we went through to lead us to even having children to begin with. And I think that goes for motherhood in general. I've always felt guilty for feeling it's hard to be a mother because I know how much of a blessing it is to be a mom. And so I feel really guilty every time I'm extremely overwhelmed. At that time that I found out that I was pregnant, I had just gotten over shingles. And I mentioned this in the announcement video, but that was really hard for me. Shingles was on my neck, into my ear, and the back of my head. It ruined my breastfeeding relationship with Sutton. It ruined a lot of my relationship and bonding with Sutton because I was really sick and in a lot of pain. That lasted for 7 or 8 weeks. I still have scars behind my ears. It itches every now and then. And so shingles happened, it was ending as we were moving into this home. We moved into this home, found out I was pregnant, and then I instantly got really sick and exhausted. And I genuinely felt like I was failing at motherhood anyways, because a lot of the time taking care of Sutton, I couldn't even physically be there for him. I was literally just laying on the couch feeling sick. He would be wanting to play with me or something, and I couldn't. Right when we found out about this pregnancy, I was just starting to feel like myself again, having an outlet, able to hang out with Sutton and build and bond that relationship and be a good mom. I felt like I was succeeding And then pregnancy struck, and for me, the beginning of pregnancy is the hardest time. The first trimester and like the first half of pregnancy was substantially harder for me than even the fourth trimester. And there's a lot of things that are hard about the fourth trimester. For me, the beginning of pregnancy is just so hard. And this pregnancy has been so much harder than my pregnancy with Sutton. So the day that I found out I was pregnant, we just kind of like went about that day. And then that night, I ended up throwing up like 3 times. And I don't think I actually threw up with Sutton until 11 or 12 weeks pregnant. But with this pregnancy, I started throwing up right away. So I had extreme nausea, extreme tiredness, and it's always like the blackout level of tiredness. Like I feel like with Sutton's pregnancy, there were days where I could literally sleep for like 20 hours a day. And just like Sutton's pregnancy, I had a huge coffee aversion, and so I was not wanting to have any coffee. But the difference with this pregnancy is I had to take care of a baby all day. It genuinely made my job feel impossible. So I instantly started taking medicine for my nausea. I took Unisum, which is a sleeping pill. And I started off by taking that in the evening before bed, but it ended up not being enough. So I took one in the evening and one in the morning, which just added on to how tired I was during the day, because pregnancy itself makes you exhausted, and then you take a sleeping pill right when you wake up. It did help my nausea a lot though, and so I am very thankful for it, because I would much rather try to force myself to be present through extreme tiredness than extreme nausea or even just like throwing up all the time. So the fact that that helped me just keep food down was a really big blessing. And then I also took vitamin B6, which helped my nausea as well. And then just like Sutton's pregnancy, something just like happened and I started to get energy back. And I want to say that happened for me, it was after the first trimester. So yeah, I didn't really start getting my energy back until very, very recently. And it's not obviously my same level of energy that you would have if you weren't pregnant, but getting like that second trimester, I don't even know, wind. With Sutton's pregnancy, I felt like the thing I struggled with the most was the sickness and just how exhausted I felt. And that made me feel very like anxious and depressed because I wasn't enjoying pregnancy the same way. With this pregnancy, the medicine really helped my nausea and vomiting situation. There was still exhaustion there, but I think I expected it because of Sutton's pregnancy. The thing that I have really, really struggled with is more of a mental health thing, from the perspective of being a good mom to Sutton, but also being able to accomplish my own personal goals, things that I want for myself, and then feeling guilty for wanting those things for myself. The mom guilt is a very real thing. So I talked about shingles and like how that really affected my relationship and my bonding with Sutton. We moved and I got really sick. And so right around like the end of January, Sutton was really favoring Sam. And I love my husband so much. I don't blame him. I also chose Sam. Sam's a really cool dude. But it genuinely made me feel like I was failing as a mom. And it really hit me that the only thing that I needed to focus on was being present with Sutton. So when I was able to finally regain some of myself, all I've been doing since is hanging out with Sutton and building that relationship. And I feel like we've gotten to a place now where I am his person and we have such a special relationship. Right now, I just feel really good about our relationship. And so that is why I mentally struggled, because I was like, I felt like my relationship with Sutton was really taking a hit. It was the last thing that I wanted to happen. When I finally regained energy in this pregnancy and I was able to hang out with Sutton all the time and cook for everybody and make sure the house was organized and clean, because it was a disaster there for a minute. I remember like my day would end and I was just feeling like very defeated. I felt like a lot of time had gone by and I hadn't created content. I felt like I should just give it up and do the full-time mom thing, because like, how am I gonna have time for everything? And so something I really struggled with in this first trimester was feeling like, oh my gosh, I already feel like I don't have time for myself and I'm about to add another baby on top of it. I felt so selfish for feeling that way. And I feel like there's a lot of negative culture and negative influences too, that there's just a lot of people that like speak to the mom culture on social media, the mom the like mom culture is a very positive place to be and a very negative place to be. Everyone is very opinionated on how you should mother your children. What is the priority in a marriage? Like I've seen this question going around where it's like, if you had to choose, like it's like the question to a husband, and it's like, you know, your mom, your wife, or your daughter, like rank them in order. There's a huge debate on the answer to this question. And I don't know, I feel like there's just so much information out there that can really negatively affect you. It really negatively affected me. And so I had a lot of guilt about feeling like this feeling of, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be more than a mom, because that was the biggest feeling that I felt when I found out that I was pregnant, because I already don't have time. Like, how am I going to make time for myself? I have learned in motherhood, and especially in this first trimester, and this is a recent thing that I've learned, and there are different opinions on this, but I feel like it is very important as a mom to have an outlet and do something that you need to do for yourself. Being a mom is the biggest blessing and the biggest joy, but it's also okay to need an outlet and to need something for yourself. It's okay to pursue that. At the end of this first trimester, when I started feeling better, Sam and I had a conversation about how I feel like I need to pursue something for me. Make sure that that part of me is fulfilled, because that's going to make me a better wife. It's going to make me a better mom, and I know that about myself. You know, this whole first trimester, I struggled with dealing like this feeling of being a mom should just be enough. Like, you're having another baby, you have this beautiful baby in front of you, and it is such a miracle and such a blessing. Like, that should just be enough for you. And I felt so guilty for feeling like I needed something more in my life to like fulfill me. And so I guess that's something I really struggled with in this first trimester, but it's also something I really learned. Now that I'm in the second trimester, I'm excited to be creating content and sharing things, because I genuinely enjoy like vlogging and talking and sharing things with you guys. You are a mom out there and you are feeling the same way and you feel guilty for feeling that way, just know that you're not alone. I felt the same exact way. I truly feel like pursuing something that is an outlet for you is really important. That is my personal belief. I know a lot of people just say sacrifice your whole life and give it all for your kids, but I don't think that I would be a good mom if I gave up everything that I love about myself or love to do. That is just my take on it. I hate having an opinion online about mom things because I don't know, I feel like everyone's so opinionated and everyone thinks they're right. This is just what's right for me. On to, I guess, less serious things, more happy topics. I turned 29 in this first trimester, which is crazy. I'm in my last year of my 20s. I was starting to feel a little bit better around that time. I was kind of weaning off of the meds that I was taking for nausea. Sam and I took a little staycation, a long weekend up to a cute little town in Colorado called Fort Collins. Sam's parents came to our house and watched Sutton for the weekend, and we had just like a really sweet, special weekend. The weekend before that, actually, we found out the gender of our baby. I think boy.
I think boy too. I think it's still a boy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go. I feel like I'm gonna immediately see when
When you pull the knife back. Oh, I can already see. Hey, no.
Wait, hold on, I can't move. The cake's moving.
Pull it back up.
No, there's
It's a, you can tell though. It's a boy.
I feel like I have to be like,
You have to wait.
I have to like take the whole.
Maybe it was a trick.
We are having a boy. I am truly so excited. Obviously, one day I do want a little girl. I would have been happy either way, girl or boy, but we are very excited to be having a boy. We do have a name picked out for him. Super excited to meet him. And we're just gonna have 2 little boys running around. Somebody pray for me because Sutton already feels crazy. I feel like I'm definitely gonna need like a mom day. I'm excited to do 2 under 2. I'm nervous, but I'm definitely excited. The excitement has hit. I think once we found out the gender of the baby and we picked out a name for him, like everything's starting to feel so real. So now, while I'm in my second trimester and I'm feeling good, I'd like to get this house in order, even though we've been living here for 5 months, and get things set up for this little boy. I'm going to spend a lot of my second trimester kind of getting this place ready. I loved the postpartum period, oddly enough, with Sutton, but I definitely didn't have the energy or the strength to like decorate a house. And same in the third trimester. I mean, I had more energy in the third trimester, but the nesting has hit me really hard already. It hit me in the first trimester, which I guess is something that's new in the first trimester that I didn't have with Sutton. That is my first trimester of this pregnancy. So wild still to me. I'm excited to share more, but for now, we are gonna take advantage of the second trimester. We're gonna get this house decorated, and I'm also really excited to share that. So thank you for sticking around for this video. I'm excited to share more. I love you guys so, so much, and I'll see you soon.